What's up, Craig? Welcome to Trust Me, Bro. How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, Mark? Good. How you doing?
Not bad. Just got done watching the two Monday night football games. A little bit of little bittersweet. Ended up winning one matchup, but lost the other one.
Ah,
I was
damn.
playing Marcus, and he had Browns D, and his team ended up. I think if he would have scored 10 points, he would have beat me. And in fact, he actually had 10 at one point. And then the Steelers ended up either doing an interception or scoop and score. I think it might have been an interception off of Deshaun Watson. Ended up running it in and knocked him down to
Yeah, it
seven.
was a
So,
scoop and score. Yep.
yep, yeah, I won that one, but the other one I playing a guy with Steelers D, so that put him up over 24 points and just enough for him to win the match. So
There you go.
went 3-1 on the weekend. How about you?
Yeah, same, man. I went 3-1. Um, Not a whole lot of action tonight, with Chubb going down, that kind of helped me. I was going against him,
Yeah,
going against
there you go.
Njoku. He didn't do a lot, so yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy
what'd
though,
you
man.
think?
Like the team I thought I had the best lineup on. I walked out of that
Hmm.
draft just thinking, hell yeah, I got this. I'm 0-2 in now.
Yeah, me too. I'm 0-2 in one of
Yeah.
my leagues also. So,
Yeah.
but luckily the 0-2 that I'm in is the league that everybody makes the playoffs. So it's all good.
Oh, there you go.
You
So you're
know,
guaranteed. Yeah, you got it
yeah,
locked in
yeah.
already. Nothing to worry
There
about.
you go. Yeah, exactly. It's all about just building up that best team to make it through the playoffs.
Yep,
You know.
exactly.
So what'd you think of the other game, the Carolina and the Saints?
Carolina's got nothing going on, man.
No,
like,
nothing, man.
yeah, um, Bryce Young's trying to figure it out, but he didn't have anybody to throw to either.
Nope, sure
Not much of a
doesn't.
running
And
game there. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
yeah,
That's
I
not a
think
good offense
yeah,
right now.
yeah, Miles Sanders was swallowed up by the Saints D. I mean, he didn't do nothing all night. So,
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what. I mean, the Saints D look good, but the Saints offense, man, they just didn't look good at all. I don't know. I don't really want a whole lot of Saints players on any of my teams right now.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell who's really going to get the ball. Like they spread it around a lot. I don't know if Mike Thomas did much tonight, but
Yeah,
yeah, they're kind of all over the place too.
yeah. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of faith in Carr. The guy just, I don't know, man. Just didn't
Yeah,
make the right decisions. So
I'm with you, man.
not a good quarterback.
Yep.
All right,
I mean,
so
there's
I've
always
got
got to
some.
be the bottom half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're definitely bottom half, and
Can't
we'll
all be.
see. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Jamal Williams got hurt tonight. Chubb got hurt tonight. So,
Yep.
and then Barkley. So yeah, we got a lot of injuries
Yep.
already.
Got some gaps to fill, brother.
Yeah. So now I see why a lot of people are going with this zero RB thing. It kind of makes sense now, right? With two of the top I don't know, five, at least
Yeah.
10 running backs are
It,
out already. So
yeah. Seems like it happens all the time, man. Like every time I've
yeah.
gone the running back in the first 5 picks,
Hmm.
it's, you know, it's ended up biting me. So yeah,
Yeah. Same.
you just kind of hang around. I mean, that league I'm 0-2 in. I'm not happy with my running backs. Like Josh Jacobs hasn't kicked it in yet.
No.
Um, you know, ETN's been all right. Nothing too crazy. So that one, I'm just waiting for that good running back to come around.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully we can find some here off the waiver wire.
Yeah. Let's see what we got.
All right. You want to start with running backs?
Yeah, let's start with running backs, man.
Okay.
Who's your
Who's your
first one?
best? Okay, I'll go first on running backs. I wrote down Matt Breida for the Giants. Only 2% owned. Only reason why is because Barkley's out. It looks like I saw the news today, 2 to 3 games. So it would be just a stopgap. I don't know if he's any good, but he's going to get the lion's share, I think, in the
Yeah.
Giants
I mean, he's been a
running
decent back.
back room.
Yeah, like he's been a decent back. I've got it written down too, 100% because Saquon went down. He really did nothing, maybe
Yeah,
5 yards in the last game, but seems to be
yeah,
next in line. So yeah, he's definitely one to go target at least for that. And you never know with Saquon. They say 2 to 3 weeks, but that guy could be 4 to 5 weeks.
yeah. It could
Yeah,
be. I think last
yeah,
year he was out for a little while, so it could be
yep,
another trip like
yeah.
that. How about you? Who you got?
I've got Zach Moss. He was 32% owned. Went for 88 and one tutty. I mean,
Yep.
that Deion Jackson's. He always seemed to impress me the last year or two when he came in. Filled in. He always just had a bang up game, but he didn't seem to have it this year. And Zach Moss seems to be running pretty hard, man. Like that.
He sure does. Yeah, I actually had
Yeah.
his name written down next. I actually picked him up in my work league and played him this weekend, so I was happy with the production. 88 yards, 4 targets, 4 grabs for 19, and he got a tutty. So
Yeah.
he scored me over
Yep.
20. I
Hey,
was
we'll
happy with
take
that.
that, man. Absolutely,
Yeah,
we'll take
totally.
that.
Yep. I grabbed it off the
Yeah.
waiver wire too. So
Yeah. I've got him sitting on one of my benches. He might end up making the starting roster this next week. Who do they have next
yeah.
week?
I don't know. I'll have to take a look and see what the Colts got next. I don't know. All right. My next one was I wrote down Kareem Hunt. Just because, with Chubb going out tonight, the way he
Yep.
did, the early reports I've read so far said that it does look really serious. It could be IR situation, season ending. And so I'm thinking Hunt's familiar with that squad. I mean, he did play there, right? For the past
Yep.
2 years, maybe. He's
Yeah.
sitting on his couch, I think, right now. He knows the playbook. It seems logical that he'd be the guy to call,
Yeah,
for
I
the
agree, man. I was kind of thinking the same thing. He's gonna land somewhere. If it's not to go fill in, that seems to be the natural fit. I'm surprised Baltimore
yeah,
hasn't called him yet. Maybe they have. Maybe they're
right.
trying to get a hold of him. Maybe he's like out of town or something.
Yeah,
On vacation.
right.
Who knows what he could be doing? But
Yeah,
maybe waiting for that Browns call. But I agree, man. I think that's a good pickup. That's a good one to grab, see what happens.
yeah.
Um,
Good speculative.
yeah, kind of in the fill-in role, Tony Jones. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this
For the
dude,
Saints.
yeah, for the Saints, he was looking pretty good too.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so it's just a matter of how long is Williams out, because I thought about Tony Jones too, but Kamara's out for 3 weeks, so it's been 2, so he's got one more week, and then AK comes back in week
yeah,
4, moving on. So if Tony Jones would be a rental for at the
yep,
most 1 week, assuming that the hamstring injury to Williams was significant and he won't be playing next week.
yeah. Hamstrings
But
this
that
year,
other guy,
man.
yeah, I know, right? But Ford, he didn't look too bad, right? For
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
assuming they don't
Yeah,
get
Ford.
Hunt. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at Tony Jones, man. I think he's on a different squad, man.
yeah, Tony Jones is on the Saints, but yeah, Ford didn't look too bad. I mean, that one run he
Yeah,
had was
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
So he might be good for a pinch. If they don't sign Hunt, then Ford might be the guy
yeah,
for Cleveland.
yeah. He was looking
So
good.
any other running backs?
Nope, that's all I've got.
Nope. All right, let's go back up to the top 2 quarterbacks. Who's your first QB you wrote down, if any?
Yeah, this is kind of borderline, but only 51% owned. I was actually shocked to see that there was other quarterbacks that I probably wouldn't put on my roster that were 75% owned that that are more owned than Jared Goff. He went for 323 yards, 3 tutties this week. He's got a great set of receivers to throw to. I think I think week in, week out. He's got Atlanta, Green Bay, and Carolina coming up. So
Yeah,
he's got some teams that he could throw the ball on too.
yeah, he's really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's solid. I think you might have mentioned him last week too, but yeah,
yeah,
he's still out there, right? No
yep,
51. I mean, just above our threshold. That's close enough. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. If you need a QB, go get him. I know you've got Fields, and I've got Fields too, and I'm kind of struggling, right? Just playing Fields, 2 weeks in a row. I mean, I'm
yeah,
starting to wonder. I don't know. That might be a good
mm,
one for Goff.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it's my 2 quarterback league, so it's kind of tough to even
Yeah.
find somebody out there. Goff's not sitting out there for me.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to tough it out with them and just kind of hope that your other quarterback pulls you through.
Yep.
All right. So first one I wrote down was Russell Wilson with the
Yeah.
Broncos. He's 51% owned. So again, and that's on the Yahoo side, a little bit above our threshold by 1 point. In week 2, he had 308 yards, 3 tutties, and he also rushed 6 times for 56. So pretty decent production. Well, we all know what we
Yep.
got in Russell Wilson, but we've been waiting on him to ride, I guess, for the Broncos. But
Yeah, man.
maybe we'll see it.
I mean, he's always been a good one. He had a
Yeah,
down year. I think he's going to get him back this year, man.
yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
a good pick. That's a good one to go look at. I've got we'll see if this is a flash in the pan or not. But C.J. Stroud,
Hmm.
seven
I
point
had him written down
four
too.
percent on.
Yeah,
Yep. But I
yeah,
mean, almost 400 yards, man. He threw it for
yeah.
384 and 2 tutties.
That's
You
right.
know, made made Nico Collins and Nathaniel
Tank
Bell
Dell.
is Tank Bell. Yeah, made
Tank
them look like
Tank Dell.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, he looked
Made them
good.
look good. Yeah,
Yeah, same thing,
yep,
man. I had C.J. Stroud written down also as my third QB.
yep,
Promising young rookie from was he the Ohio State guy? I think he was, right? Or I forget.
yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, very
and
good.
I mean those quarterbacks do come out. Like they come out ready to play.
Hmm. Right.
When you're a
Yeah,
quarterback at
exactly.
Ohio State,
From
you got
Ohio
a pretty
State,
good track record.
Bama. Yeah,
Yep,
exactly. Those two colleges produce NFL ready quarterbacks.
yep,
So yeah, good pick there.
yeah.
All right, my last QB I had written down was Matthew Stafford from the Rams, only 35% owned,
Really?
and he's just 35% owned, and he's just been lighting it up, man. He's got
Oh yeah,
over 300 yards passing both weeks, but he's only got one TD, so that's where he's lacking right now. He needs to make it up in the TD department, but man, he's been hitting Puka and Atwill and whoever, man. I mean, he's
yeah,
just lighting them up, and once Cup comes back, it'll only get better.
yeah, man. I agree. I was watching him this Sunday. And he's back.
Hmm.
He's zipping the ball around, making good throws, man. He's not afraid to throw it. He'll throw 40, 50 times a game, easy.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. That's what you
I don't know how
want
many
from a fantasy
plays he
quarterback.
had, but yeah, he was slinging it all around, man. Looks like that elbow injury or whatever he had last year really did affect him because
Yeah, I
he
think
looked good
so.
this year.
Yeah, yeah, he had a
Yeah, he
down
looks
year
solid.
last year, but
Yep.
yeah, he does, and he looks like a competitor too. I saw him out there. I mean, he was really pissed, when that interception happened. Obviously, it wasn't his fault; went off the guy's hands, but
Yeah.
he's definitely out there to compete, and he wants to win. So he's going to be tossing it around, like you said.
Yep. Yep. Slinging the
All right.
thing. Last one I've got, and this one's a little bit of a reach, but I'm kind of interested in this guy, man. He looks like a
Mhm.
poor man's Josh Allen. That's Sam Howell. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, he's 9% owned. I ended up picking him up last week and playing him because I just didn't have any
I
other
saw
quarterback
that
to
in the two
play.
QB league, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and
yeah,
he didn't do too bad in this week. He was 299 for 2 tutties and rushed for another 13 yards. So
yeah.
like he's got something going there, and that Washington offense seems to go. I mean, when he gets the ball into Brian Robertson's hands, dude will
Hmm.
take off for 20 yards real quick. So
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
he doesn't have to be airing it out like Tom Brady used to. He could dink and dunk it.
That's right. Yeah, and he's got some
Uh,
good receivers too. He's got what was that other guy? Yeah, I'm blanking right now. Um,
yeah.
Scary Terry and
Yep. Yep.
that other
Terry
guy.
McLaren and
Yeah,
Dodson,
yeah,
I think.
Dotson. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson. Yeah, he's.
Yep.
But anyway, they're both good
Yeah.
receivers. So yeah, he might
Yep.
he might do pretty good this year. Not bad.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
thought it was really interesting that they rolled him out there this year, but
Hmm.
hey, he's looking decent so far.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. I don't think they had much else to choose from. So
yeah. Well, that's all I've got on quarterbacks.
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
All right. So who you got for wide receivers?
Um, I got part of that Disney duo, man. I got Tutu Atwell on here again because he's
Nice.
still way under 50% owned. 7 balls for 77 yards.
Hmm.
I think I bet Puka loses some catches and some of his momentum once Cup comes back.
Yeah.
But Atwell seems to be that you know outside receiver that like to throw the outs to, or some of the go routes too. So he seems to have a role in that offense. They connect
Yeah.
pretty well.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I guess when I think about it, they'll probably have both those guys still on the field, Pukanuka and Tutu Atwell on each side of the field, and I'm assuming Cup plays a slot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So you got all three of them on the field. That'd be pretty good, core wide receivers right there.
Yep.
So yeah, that'd be good. I actually had him written down too, but I scratched him out just because I talked about him last week, so didn't want to
Yeah.
repeat it. But yeah, he's still 25% owned on the Yahoo side, so he's definitely still out there.
Yep.
75% of leads. Good pickup.
Yeah.
All right, my first guy I wrote down was Marvin Mims for the Marvin Mims Jr. of the Broncos, only 23% owned. His targets weren't there. I mean, he only had 2 targets, but he caught both of them for 113 yards and a tutty.
Yep.
So, I mean, there was a lot of hype for him in the preseason. If you grab him in one of these return yard leagues, I think he returns punts, maybe kickoffs too, but I think at least punts. So he can rack up some yards there for you too. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. I mean, I wouldn't, probably start him in week 3, but it'd be one to keep an eye on. Maybe not even draft, or maybe not even pick up this week, but definitely keep an eye on.
Yeah, I took a look at him too. I mean, that's obviously impressive, but the 2 catches, the fact that he's a definite number 3,
Yeah.
that kind of scares me. But the punt return, you're right though. Like that's the one to watch out for. The kick return, I mean, nobody's returning kicks anymore. Like they're fair catching at the 5. So you're not going to get many kick returns. So yeah, you got to watch out for those guys that are returning punts. That's where you can really get those yards.
Except Rashid Shaheed, he still returns the kicks for some reason. I think that's kind of the game plan from Dennis Allen in the Saints.
Just running them out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just running them out. I think the guy's got a ton of speed.
Yep.
All right. How about you? What other wide receivers you got?
I've got Josh Reynolds on here. 4.7% owned. He went 5 for 66 and 2 tutties.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one that I just always forget about. He's pretty active. And we talked about Goff earlier, but he's one of the main guys there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he'll have a role there. I mean, Jameson Williams doesn't come off of his gambling suspension for another, I don't know, 3 more games, I think, or 4 more games. I think it's anyway. So there's 4 games right there that it's basically him and ASB.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a bad pickup.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, I wrote down Jaden Reed for the Packers. I actually have him on one of my teams. I don't remember if I drafted him or got him off the waiver wire, but he's only 10% owned. This past game, he had 4 grabs on 8 targets for 37 yards, which isn't that great, but 2 tutties.
Yeah.
So, he definitely blew up. He's a promising rookie on the Packers, and yeah, I think he'll have a good season.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, man. We'll see when Christian Watson comes back. What the share is going to look like there, but in the meantime, yeah, he looks pretty solid to me.
Week 1 it was Dubs, and then week 2 it was Jaden Reed. So you never know.
Yeah, we'll find out. Love's still trying to find it out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to figure it out. One I wrote down this from kind of watching tonight was Thielen. He's 51% owned. But 9 grabs, 54 yards and a tutty, and he's maybe the only name you would recognize. Catching the ball for the Panthers. So, I guess I got the Mingo. I think he's a rookie. Other than that, I don't know who. I don't know
DJ
who
Chark, I think, but he didn't have much of a good game. So
yeah.
He's no, I agree. We've both ridden with Thielen over the years. I mean, I'm sure both you and I have had him on squads. Several times. So yeah, he's a solid guy. He's still got a couple gallons left in his tank, so we'll see how it goes for the rest of the year.
Hey man, I was thinking for about 13 weeks.
Exactly. Speaking of tanks, my last guy is Tank Dell for the Texans. 5% owned. He had 10 targets. He saw. It was just week 2. He caught 7 of them for 72 yards plus a tutty. And so he got a ton of hype in the Houston area. Sometimes I watch the local news and they talk about the training camp for Houston, and so they talk
Yeah,
about him a lot during training. He got a lot of buzz during training camp. I saw him. I've been following him since preseason. Saw him do really well in preseason. So he has a good connection with their quarterback. So I could see
yeah,
him being one of the top receivers. I mean, Nico Collins is doing good, but other than Nico Collins, I mean, Robert Woods, I think he's cooked. So I think it's going to be Tank Dell and Nico Collins this year from Houston.
yeah. I agree with you. Yeah,
So
totally agree on Woods too.
yeah,
He's good for 2 catches a game, maybe 22
mm-hmm.
yards. That's about it. So
Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
yeah. I like it. I like it.
Any other wide receivers?
That's all I've got. Tight end time.
Same here. All right. How about you? What you got?
Man, I reluctantly wrote this down. It's because I've been on this train before and I don't like it. I don't like where that train goes. But Hunter
Taysom
Henry.
Hill. Oh, okay. Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry.
Yes.
34% owned. Not a shock. But
Mm-hmm.
he almost exactly the same game as he had the first week. About 6 balls. I
Yeah.
think he caught 7 the week before. 52 yards, touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you put up 16, 17 points 2 weeks in a row, you seem to be a pretty strong target for Mac Jones right now. I don't know,
Yes.
man. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
as much as I hate it, it's like when you get burned by somebody, you draft somebody high and then they just burn you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, screw that guy. I don't ever want to see his name again in my life. And then
Yeah.
yeah, and I never drafted Hunter Henry high, but still,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, 17 consistently 2 weeks in a row. I mean, that's gold for tight ends. I
yep,
mean, he's probably the number one tight end in all of fantasy
he
football
probably
so
is.
far. I mean,
Yep,
Kelsey didn't make 17. He got 12.
yeah,
This bad. Kittle, he's got like 3 the first week, 5 the next week. You know what I mean?
yep. Mark
Um,
Andrews got about 15 or so.
yeah.
Missed the first week. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Just ride that train until the wheels fall off. Yeah. Go for it. I
yeah.
like it.
I'll be looking for
All
my
right.
next stop though if I ride that train.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just take it on a short trip.
I'll stay by the door.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So I wrote down a name that I saw tonight. It got me thinking. Taysom Hill with the Saints. I know that he's not exactly the best tight end. I don't even think he plays tight end, but he's classified as a tight end
I know.
on the on our fantasy leagues. He had 9 rushes tonight for 75 yards, and it just I mean, I don't know if you watched the game much, but he was in. I mean, 25% of the time at quarterback, and he was just taking direct snaps and just running them. And
Yeah,
so, like I said, nine carries for 75 yards. And so with Williams going down and AK not back till week 4, I mean, he might be a sneaky pick to put in your tight end slot
yeah,
if you're desperate. If that league you're in has absolutely nobody. I mean, like a league I'm in, I'm playing. It's that guy Hayden Hurst. He got me like 5 tonight. So I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
I'd rather take my chances and roll the dice with Taysom Hill and just see how it
yeah.
goes next week.
I like it. I like it. You're right. I
You
mean,
know?
this seems to be a good scenario for him to get the ball more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. One week, filler.
yeah.
How about you? You
Nice.
got any more tight ends?
Yeah, I've got a name to just keep on your radar. I don't know if I definitely wouldn't go, use my waiver wire spot for him, but he's sitting there. You got a little extra spot on your bench. Jake Ferguson might be one to kind of keep your eye on
Yeah.
for the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
He had a terrible first game. He looked like Tooney, our
Yeah.
version of
Totally.
Tooney.
Lots of drops. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like 2 for 7. Um, you know, 3 for 11 and 1 tutty this last game, and Dak ends up throwing to the tight end a lot. Offense looks
Yeah.
different, but it still is a pretty quick strike offense. So I think they kind of get a connection going and get a relationship going, and that's something that Jake Ferguson could turn into that 15, 20 point a game guy.
Could be. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he had like you said, he had stone hands game 1, but maybe a little nervous, but
Yeah,
yeah, he did good. He did pretty decent. Last game. So I mean, season long. Yeah, you're right. Dak
yeah,
likes to include the tight end. So whoever's the starting tight end for the Cowboys is always a promising role.
Yep.
All right. Next up, I had Luke Musgrave for the Packers, only 25% owned. He didn't really have a great game or anything, but the reason why I wrote this down is because Adam Schefter actually was on, Sunday morning talking about this guy, saying that he'd be the guy to get for the Packers, as far as a tight end if you need a tight end. So, I mean, Schefter seems to know his stuff, right? So I always kind of listen to him. I think he was talking about Eli Mitchell one time, for the 49ers at the
49ers,
beginning of
yeah.
last season. Yeah. And then sure enough, Eli was the guy, that was, of course, before they traded for C-Mac. But anyway, so he kind of has some inside information. So I don't know, worth a dice roll.
Yeah. All right. So our tight ends were just dice rolls.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got one more. I got one more unless you got one.
Nope. I only got two.
Okay. So this one's a name we know. Zach Ertz plays for the Cardinals. Only 10% owned on the Yahoo side.
Yeah.
He's seen 18 targets so far, and he caught 12 of them within the past 2 games for 77 yards. No tutties, but I saw some red zone looks. I mean he's been targeted in the red zone, so
yeah,
he's reliable. Old school. Remember him from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
I mean, that's a good one. He probably could come on even more when Kyler comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like that too. I wouldn't use a waiver on it, but I would definitely.
No,
not
at all. Yeah, with 10% owned, I mean, there's no line outside the door. For him.
Yeah, exactly. No. Exactly. Sold 0 tickets.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I've got for tight end, brother.
Okay, same here. All right, so in order to kind of keep this close to 30 minutes, I'm just going to kind of roll through the players that I'm happy I drafted. No, not much commentary. I'll just just say the names real quick. So Pat Mahomes, last week he got me 305 yards for 2 tutties, 7 rushes for 30. Glad I drafted Devontae Smith. Week 2 he got me 4 grabs on 5 targets for 131 yards and a tutty. Glad I drafted James Cook. He had 17 carries for 123 yards, also caught 4 of 4 for 36. I'm glad I drafted Christian Kirk. He had 11 grabs on 14 targets for 110 yards. DJ Moore had 6 grabs on 7 targets for 104. Josh Allen threw for 274 and 3 tutties. DeAndre Swift, the Eagles, 28 carries for 175 yards and a tutty.
Yeah, he went off.
Yeah, he did. Tyler Lockett didn't. Oh yeah, he had 8 grabs on 10 targets for 59 yards and 2 tutties. Ken Walker the third, Seahawks, 17 carries for 43 yards and 2 tutties. T. Higgins, 8 grabs on 12 targets for 89 yards and 2 tutties. Keenan Allen, Chargers, 8 grabs on 10 targets for 111 and 2 tutties.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
So, happy with those guys.
Keenan's one I slept on, man. I regret that. I've got Tony Pollard, man. I think looks like the Cowboys going to be playing from ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the season, especially these first 5 games, or at least first 4, and then they got the 49ers. But Tony Pollard, man, he's solid. He'll get you points week in and week out. He'll find that end zone. If he doesn't find the end zone, he's going to catch you, 4 or 5 catches and
at least
some yards there too. So Mike Evans on the contract year. I was just kind of thinking about this today. I think Mike Evans actually made Johnny Manziel look really good and win a Heisman. He made Tom Brady look really good. We don't need help making Tom Brady look good, but didn't hurt in his old age. He's making Baker Mayfield look good. So he's solid. James Cook, I'm right there with you. CeeDee Lamb, I like the way the Cowboys offense has kind of changed. Looks like they're getting the ball out quicker and getting it to CeeDee and giving him some room to run. So I think he's gonna have a solid year this year. And then one just showed up tonight, George Pickens. Man, that
it's good catch and run,
70-yard touchdown or whatever, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was solid. So, very good.
Yeah, I mean, if that line for the Steelers can come together a little bit and give Pickett some time, Pickens is gonna have a solid year too. Couple that have some huge question marks over them. Josh Jacobs, where you at?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, he's terrible. -1 yard in week 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think the pass is a little high, but that's the one that he got picked off over his shoulder or something like that. Maybe it was a pick six too, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to play him,
terrible.
but man, I don't know. I'm not liking it.
Yeah, I'm not liking it either. So I need to see that one coming around, and then David Pierce. Yeah, or David
Yeah.
Pierce,
Damian
right? Yeah,
Pierce.
Damian
Yeah,
Pierce. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He's
For the
he
Texans,
needs to
yeah.
show up. Yeah, his
Terrible year so far.
yep.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I've heard a lot of people regretting that pick lately.
Yeah, I was so high on him in the draft, and then not so high on him right now. But we still got a lot of
Yep,
season left to play.
that's right. Maybe he'll turn it on.
Yep.
So the only other player that I didn't even draft this guy. I grabbed him off the waiver wire, but it was Zach Moss. I think I talked about him earlier.
Yep.
18 carries for 88 yards and a tutty. So I'm glad that I grabbed him off the waiver wire. He's my
Yeah.
first waiver wire success that I've liked. So
Nice snag.
Yep.
There's one out there. It's a little more than 60 or 50% owned, but one I just picked up off the waiver wire was that Kyrie Williams or Kyron Williams or whatever. Yeah. I mean, he's
solid, man.
He gave Cam Akers his walking papers.
Yeah, Cam Akers was inactive, week 2. I did not.
Yeah.
That really surprised me. I mean, I wasn't going to play him anyway. He was sitting on my bench, but later on, I was like, "Wait, out?" I said, "What happened?" And I was like, "Oh, inactive."
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, and you know what? Cam Akers is actually one to keep an eye on. You never know where he might land. He might land somewhere and
True.
have a good rest of the season.
Yeah, I think he would fit well with the Ravens, and I think Hunt would be good back with the Browns.
Yep.
So
I agree with that.
if you and I were the GMs, that's what we'd be doing.
Yeah, we'd make some deals.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's about it, Craig. Well, good talking to you tonight, and had fun watching football this weekend and Monday night. I think next Monday night we got another doubleheader, so we'll be back at it this time next week.
Cool. All right, brother. Good luck on the waiver wire.
All right, brother.
Good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Cool. All right. See ya.